Rain fell in thin, restless sheets, tracing crooked lines down the windowpane as Claire Emerson set another box on the hardwood floor. The house smelled of cedar and dust, her uncle's ghost lingering in every corner. After years in the city, years she preferred to think of as erased, she'd come here to breathe, to paint, to disappear. The lake outside shimmered under the gray light, quiet and vast, a mirror too still to trust. The knock came like a gunshot. 3 hard raps, urgent, entitled. She hesitated. Nobody should have known she'd moved in yet. The realtor hadn't even updated the listing. Pulling her sweater tighter, she opened the door. 3 people stood on the porch, soaked but unmoved by the rain. The man in front wore a wool coat and an expression carved from stone. "Claire Emerson?" he asked. His voice carried authority sharpened by irritation. "Yes," she said slowly. "I'm Richard Hale, president of the Lakeshore Homeowners Association." He extended no hand. "You've moved into 18 Willow Lane, which borders our lake. There's been some confusion." Confusion. The word slid through his teeth like a threat. Behind him, a woman with perfect hair and plastic sympathy added, "The lake's under the HOA's collective care. You'll need to sign usage agreements before." "I own the property," Claire interrupted, heartbeat quickening. "The house. The land. The water rights came with it." Richard's jaw flexed. "That's not how it works here." Something in his tone, the quiet confidence of someone used to winning, made her stomach twist. "I have the deed," she said, steadying her voice. "And the title includes the lake." The woman's polite smile cracked. The third man, silent until now, muttered, "This again." Richard's eyes narrowed. Rain trickled from his collar, darkening his coat. "You'll find that some paperwork can be misleading. We'd like to review it." Claire met his stare. "You can ask, but you don't get to demand." For a moment, no one spoke. Thunder rolled over the lake like a warning. Then Richard turned away. "We'll be in touch." As they disappeared into the mist, Claire shut the door, and felt, for the first time, that she wasn't alone in the house. The house groaned with the shifting wind as Claire sat on the floor, surrounded by boxes her uncle had labeled in his uneven scrawl. "Legal. Private. Don't destroy." Dust hung in the air like fine ash. Every folder she opened felt heavier than paper should, the weight of secrets pressing from the past. She hadn't slept since the HOA's visit. Richard Hale's voice echoed in her mind. "That's not how it works here." The arrogance. The certainty. It wasn't confusion, it was fear disguised as authority. A faint chill rippled through the room. The storm had eased, leaving the smell of wet pine seeping through the cracks. Claire lit an old desk lamp. Its yellow glow flickered over maps and brittle deeds, each one bearing her uncle's signature and, unmistakably, the word exclusive water rights. Her pulse quickened. She called the county clerk, fingers trembling around her phone. "Could you confirm ownership of Lake Emerson?" she asked, forcing calm. After a shuffle of papers and a cough, the woman replied, "According to our records, the rights were never transferred. It still belongs to the Emerson estate." Claire exhaled sharply. "Even the docks?" A pause. "Yes. Technically, everything built over or under that water would require your permission." She hung up before the tremor in her voice could betray her. The realization hit like cold current. The HOA's empire rested on her family's lake. Every boardwalk, every glossy boathouse, every private dock hers. She opened another box. Inside was a weathered file marked in red ink. Incident, 2017. Confidential. Her uncle's handwriting filled the margins, frantic, fragmented. "They're covering it up." The docks. "Don't trust Hale." Claire's hands went numb. She flipped through photos, a blurred image of a police boat, yellow tape fluttering, the glint of moonlight on water. A girl's name half erased by mold. The floor creaked behind her. Claire froze. But it was only the lake's reflection quivering against the window, shifting like a living thing. She shut the file, heart pounding. Whatever happened here, Richard wasn't protecting property. He was protecting something buried in that water. Outside, the ripples deepened, swallowing the moonlight whole. By evening, the air had thickened with the scent of rain and algae. Claire stood at the edge of the dock. The incident 2017 file still haunting her thoughts. The water below was still, too still, like it remembered. A crunch of gravel snapped her from her thoughts. Richard Hale stepped out of the shadows, his silhouette framed by the dimming light. "You've been digging," he said, voice low, almost weary. "Your uncle used to do the same. It didn't end well for him." Claire steadied her breath. "He didn't die of a heart attack, did he?" Richard's eyes flickered, then hardened. "Careful. You don't know what you're stepping into." She turned toward him fully, the sunset igniting the water behind her in shards of orange and blood red. "I know enough. The lake's mine. The docks, the slips, every plank of wood you built your little kingdom on." His laugh was short and bitter. "You think this is about property?" He stepped closer, boots sinking into the wet boards. "You don't understand what you're inheriting. That lake takes things. Always has." Her pulse quickened. "You mean people, don't you?" For a moment, his face broke, the mask slipping. "It was an accident," he muttered. "A summer night, a party. My daughter fell in. No lights, no safety rails. We tried to save her. But your uncle, he wouldn't let it go. He said someone was drinking, that there was negligence. He threatened to go to the county." Claire's voice trembled. "So you silenced him?" Richard's gaze turned hollow. "He had a heart condition," he said quietly, almost to himself. "Stress kills." The wind picked up, rattling the dock. A flashlight rolled from his pocket, clattering across the wood before splashing into the lake. Its beam vanished into darkness, swallowed whole. Claire felt the weight of the truth settle over her. This wasn't about ownership. It was about guilt, buried under years of polished meetings and HOA minutes. Richard took a step back, eyes glinting. "Walk away, Claire. Let the past stay under the surface." But as he disappeared into the fog, she looked down into the rippling water, and thought she saw a pale hand just beneath the reflection. The night after Richard's warning, Claire couldn't sleep. Every creak of the dock, every ripple on the water, whispered the same thing: truth doesn't drown, it waits. At dawn, mist clung to the surface like breath on glass. She stood by the water's edge, holding her uncle's voice recorder. The tape she'd found hidden in the incident, 2017 file, had been almost too faint to hear. Richard's voice arguing with her uncle, slurred words, and then a splash, followed by a scream. The girl's name echoed through static: Emily. Claire sent the file to the police before she could lose her nerve. By the time the sirens arrived, the lake had gone still again, as though bracing itself. Richard appeared on the porch of his pristine home, the other HOA members behind him, pale, silent, afraid. As the officers questioned him, Claire stepped forward. "You let everyone believe it was an accident," she said softly. He met her eyes. The defiance was gone. "It was," he rasped. "But I built those docks. I let them drink. I told myself it wasn't my fault, until your uncle started digging. I thought if he stopped—" his voice cracked. "I just wanted her to rest." Claire felt no triumph, only the hollow ache of something irreversible. "You buried her under your own reflection." The officer's hand closed on Richard's shoulder. He didn't resist. Blue and red lights flared across the water, shattering the fog. The sirens faded, leaving only the hum of insects and the soft lap of waves against the shore. When it was over, Claire returned to the dock. She unfolded the deed, smudged, creased, undeniable. The lake was hers now, in name and in burden. The first light of morning spilled across the water, turning it gold. For the first time, it looked peaceful. Yet beneath that calm, she knew, the lake remembered everything. She closed her eyes, whispering, "Rest, Emily." The wind stirred, gentle and forgiving. The ripples spread outward, erasing the last of the night.